Hello everyone, Lapsus here, Skid Cities developer, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create mods for Skid Cities. I'm going to start with a very simple mod and upload it to the workshop, and I will then show you how to create a more complex mod. This video will probably need some updating in 6 months or so always check out the documentation and our Discord channel if you have any question. Links in the description below. You'll be able to join and ask me questions. We have a channel for modding and where I answer everything. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. So first, you will need to check out the documentation. The documentation has all the links you may need. So if you go on the Skid Cities page, community page, all discussion, screenshots, and so forth. If you go on the workshop page and then you click on learn more, boom, you will arrive to the documentation page. Right now it's a Google Doc, so yeah, that's correct. Don't worry about that. So you will see here, you need certain things to be able to submit the mod. So the first thing is download this Unity project in this link here. I already downloaded it. You also need Unity. So if you don't have Unity, just go to the Unity website and download Unity 2020. It's free. So yeah, just do that. Unity is very useful and will allow you to create the mod. Once you have the Unity installed and the Unity project, unzip it on your computer and then open it on Unity. I opened it already here. If you're using Unity Hub, you will need to click Add and then navigate to the folder where the Skid Cities modding tool has been downloaded and click Select, so that your project will show up here on the Unity Hub and you'll be able to click it.
Nebish said, I see you've added financial realism.
Now,
These monthly fees are killing me just like IRL.
Now, this is the Unity projects. You will see that it has two scenes. One is called the new building. This is where we will add the models for the mod. And then we have another scene that is called submission. And you can use this to submit your mod once it's ready. So for this tutorial, I want to create a new building model. And so there are two types of building model that you can create as a mod. So you can create a completely new building type. For example, I could come up with, a new type of building like that has not been seen before. And you will, whoever downloads the mod will see a new icon in the building menu, and they will be able to build a new type of building. Another type of mod that you can create is a model variation. This allows you to add a new 3D model to a zoning category. So for example, you may, create a new model for a factory and then add it to the mod, and that will be added to the other factories models that are used in the game. This second type of mod is of course faster because you just need to define the 3D model. Instead, if you want to create a new building type, you'll need a little bit more things like the icon, the name, the description, and so forth. So in this video, I'm going to create a model variation mod. And if you're interested in me creating a video also for the new building type, I will do that. All right, so to create a building variation mod, I will follow the steps, and those are the ones that I already explained. So I'll open the Unity project here, and you will see I have this object called add building. This is what I will use to create the mod. Now, the fields here, don't get worried about those because a lot of them, you don't need them for a building variation. So what I want to create is a factory, a new type of factory for a new type of model for factories. And I want to create specifically a factory for level 2 of size 2. And so this will determine the ID that I write here. And the documentation explains how the ID should be. If you're not sure about the ID that you would like to put, ping me on Discord and I will tell you. But it's very simple. It's actually, you will need, in this case, factory pour. So I'm gonna write factory pour. And then I need to write this, and then I'm gonna write the level. In this case, it's level 2. And then I'm gonna put another one of those, and that now I need the size. Buildings on zoning can be of size 1 or size 2. If you notice, when you're building some zoning merges in bigger buildings of size 2 tiles. I'm gonna use size 2 because that's the most common, and I wanna create a mod for this. One important thing, this mod shows you how to create a mod with one building model, but you can repeat the same approach to add multiple building models to the same mod. I'm gonna show that as well. Okay, so now that I created this, I will mark only model, because that's the type of mod that I'm doing, and I'm gonna mark dev tiles variation, because this is what I'm doing. I wanna create a new model for a dev tile. Dev tile is another word for zoning. These things are documented, but that's what you need to do. I can ignore menu spot. This is important only if you create one. And now it's asking me to create to select the 3D model. Of course, I don't have a 3D model yet because I didn't create it. So I'm gonna ahead and create it. To create a 3D model, you can use any type of software that creates 3D models, and then you can import them in Unity. I'm gonna use Blender because I love Blender. It's amazing, and it's also free. So you can go ahead, go on blender.org and download Blender. I'm gonna fire it up since I already have it. Okay, so this is my standard Blender model. I'm gonna delete everything, and then I'm gonna start creating my model. Now, I'm not gonna go into details on how to create 3D models. There's a lot of tutorials on YouTube if you're interested on how to learn about how to use Blender to create amazing 3D models. So I'm not gonna go into that, but I will explain how to make it so your building fits in the Skid Cities world. So let's say that you are in an empty Blender project. If you add a new object, so add mesh plane, for example, this object will be, and you can see it on the right hand side, will be a scale 1 and 1 and 1. Now, scale 1 in Blender is equal to 2 tiles in Skid Cities. So this standard plane here is exactly the maximum size of my model. So a good way of creating models is always start with a plane of the size of the building you want to create divided by 2. So in this case, I'm modeling a building of size 2, and so I'm adding a plane of level 1. And this will be the concrete base of my building. And now I will add other things, I will start making my building here, and it has to be contained inside of this. You can also make a building that goes outside of these boundaries, but that will mean that it will intersect with the other buildings in the city. Also, it's important that this building has the center at the 0, 0 position here. 0, 0, 0. So that it's going to be centered when the user builds it. That's about it. There are some sizes, vertical sizes, that you may want to follow, but those are just guidelines. What I mean by that is usually buildings, the zoning buildings of level 1 have an 8 of 1, buildings of level 2 have an 8 of 2.2, buildings of level 3 have an 8 of 4.5, and so on. I will leave the table in the description. In order to make sure that the height is right, what I usually do after I've added this concrete base, I'm gonna go ahead and add a cube. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. This cube is gonna show me how tall should my building be to be consistent with the other buildings of the same level. And so here on the Z side, I'm gonna set up 2.2 because that's the height of a building of level 3 actually. And then I'm gonna, you see that this is not starting from the ground up. So I will move it on the Z level until it matches. Well, I may move my view. Okay. You see that now this is on the right place. To move this on the Z level, we press G and then Z, and now I'm moving this on only on the Z axis. Okay, so this is how big my building should be. I usually kind of like place it somewhere as a reference while I keep modeling my building here. Yeah, so I double checked the sizes and I was right. So level 1, you don't have really a rule for the 8 of level 1. Level 2 is 2.2, so this one. And let's say I was going for a building of level 3, I would have wrote here 4.5 and then again moved it so that the start is there. That's how big is a building of level 3, 4.5 in Blender. And a building of level 4 is 7.5. The only hard rule is your building of level 4 has to be 7.5 in 8 because it has to match the 8 of the other buildings because the player will be able to build on top of it. So yeah, if you're planning on creating models for level 4, remember to make it exactly 7.5 in 8 total. Alright, but in this case I was going for level 2, so I'll go back to 2.2. And okay, so now I just need to model this in Blender. So I'm gonna speed up this part, gonna check it out, and again, if you have interest in learning how to use Blender, I'll leave some links below on very good tutorials on how to do that. Let's start. Okay, so my model is complete. Before I proceed, I'm gonna save this file. And then I'm going to make sure that this file is ready for export. So my suggestion is to prepare it in this way. First, select all of the objects that you have, then press Tab, then press A to select all the vertices, then press U, and then select Smart UV Project, and click OK. This will unwrap your model, and it will make sure that it looks good. The other thing is, if you have modifiers here, apply them. And then repeat the same Smart UV project. There's more advanced things. So for example, if you want to build a very complex model that has different level of details, so for example, a model that adds more details when the user zooms in versus when the user is zoomed out, you will need to create 2 separate Blender files. I'm not going to show it this now. I may explain it later if you ask me on Discord, or I may create a new video. Okay, so now I'm almost ready to export. The other thing I'm missing, I want to assign some materials here. So since this is an obelisk, I'm going to add concrete. And then this is called main. And then this is the wall. Those are the walls around it. All right. So I have these three materials. I could also just use one big material, and that would be more optimized for in terms of FPS. So I may show you how to do that, or I may add some steps in the mods if this becomes an issue. For now, that's enough. Now I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna export it. So I'm gonna click on File, Export, FBX. This is the format that allows me to import into Unity. And then I'm gonna go in the folder where I downloaded and unzipped the Unity project, this one. So I'm gonna go, well, I already know where I put it, but it's here, modding tools. And then I'm gonna go inside assets. This is important that you save it inside assets. Anywhere here is fine. Okay, I exported it. Now, if everything is good, when I go back to Unity and I go in Assets, I will see my model here. And now I can drag it into the scene, drag and drop here, and then double click on it to see it. And you will see the model more or less like this. Of course, I didn't create any texture for the model yet, so it's gonna be white. I'm gonna show you how to create textures and apply them here. So you can click on the model here, and all of these settings are fine. Look for materials on top here, and then click on extract materials. I'm just going to extract them in the assets folder. You can add other folders here if you want to be a little bit more tidy, but I'm not going to do that for now. Okay, so now I have my three materials. Note that you can already change the colors here so that they look okay, or to change the colors of those. You can also select texture, create textures, and put them there. To paint textures, I personally use Substance Painter, but Substance Painter is not free. I pay for the software. So if you're looking for a free alternative, I really would not know where to send you to. You can probably use Figma or Photopea, but yeah, if you have better alternatives, please let me know, and I will add them in the description below. So let's say that you added some textures. So I'm gonna just create a very quick and ugly one with Photopea now, just to show you. So this is actually, I should create a texture 512 by 512. Okay, and now I would just be able to say, add some sort of gradient, or I don't know, something like this. This is going to be very ugly. Now you can download it as PNG from here. And now you can drag and drop it into your Unity folder, Unity project here. Boom, it's going to be here. And now you can drag and drop it as albedo. It's going to be there. So there's a lot of ways of creating the textures. And I'm going to use Substance Painter for this model for now. But again, you can use any software. Alrighty, so I have my model here. I'm gonna export the textures. Again, I'll export them in the assets directory of the Unity project that I downloaded. Alright, here we go. So here I'm just gonna apply the textures to the right material. I've also used some occlusion maps. You don't have to. And some emission maps. Emission maps are cool because they show the, you know, the windows light up in your model. Alright, almost done. Now that I have my obelisk model here, and I can actually also have it in the scene, it's the same. And I have my new building object with my obelisk model referenced in the AD and the only model and dev tiles set up. Now I just need to build my mod and then upload it. So to build it, first I'm gonna go here on top of overrides and make sure that it doesn't say anything like this, because if I change something, it's gonna say apply all. And you really want to make sure that all of your options are set up and that then you click apply all. Awesome. And now if you click select, you will see that this prefab is inside this directory that is called your mod. Now, if you wanted to create a mod that has multiple buildings inside of that, you would just need to add other prefabs inside this directory. So for example, I'm gonna drag and drop another prefab in my scene, and now this is gonna be a copy of the same one there. But I don't want to copy it, I want a new one. So I'm gonna right click here, say prefab, unpack, and now this is acting like a new object. So now I'm gonna drag and drop it again here, boom. Now I have two prefabs. And now if I change this second one here, I'm effectively going to create another building inside my mod. So if I want to create a building pack, that's how I would go about it. Then I would change the ID if needed and the other options, and then I would click override again, right? I'm not gonna do this now, but you get the idea. So like I would repeat again, create a new model, reference it, create another ID, overrides, and so on and so forth. So that's how you create a pack in case. I'm gonna delete this now because actually my mod is just gonna have one model, this one. Okay, so now just one step, actually two steps before we proceed. So I'm gonna go in assets because I want to build this these models here. I'm gonna go in assets and you're gonna see this option that says build assets bundles. This is gonna build your assets bundles, the stuff that you have in this directory, and it's gonna build it for Mac and for Windows in this other directory. So if you use the Unity project like I did to create a mod in the past, don't forget to empty these directories here so that you don't get Unity confused. But if it's the first time that you're using this, those are going to be empty. That's how they're going to show up. Okay, so now I go in Assets, Build Assets Bundle. This is just going to build all of my prefabs there. It's going to take some seconds here. Okay, so now if I go in the build directory here, and I go in Windows, you will see that I have this different files, and also in OS X, which is for Mac, I will have these different files. That's all good. So I just need one more step before I'm finished it, and I created my mod for all the community to use. I'm gonna go in scenes here, scenes, and then I'm gonna open another scene which is called submission. Gonna double click it. It's gonna ask me to save this one. It's fine, you can save it or not, it doesn't change anything. Okay, now I'm in a new scene. If I hit play here, you will see a very simple interface. It's probably gonna look better by the time you're gonna use it. And here I can select the mod title, so it's gonna be obelisk in my case, and then a mod description, a nice obelisk for your city. I'm gonna call it obelisk demo. Tags, I'm gonna write factory and new model. You can change this stuff later in Steam, but the first time that you upload it, you're gonna need to do it from here. The only thing that you won't be able to change is the mod itself, but the tags, the description, the title, you can change them later. Also the preview image. I'm gonna click on select from computer, select this nice preview image I created previously, and now I'm gonna click submit. It's gonna upload my mod to Steam, and now that's it. It uploaded. So now you can exit it, and that's it. Your mod is gonna be available shortly on the on the Skid Cities workshop. So if you go on the workshop here, mods and building, you will see it here. It may take some minutes to show up. I noticed that sometimes Steam takes some minutes, so don't worry if you don't see it right away. And yeah, now if you subscribe to it, you launch the game, Steam will download it, and then you'll be able to use it. So this is it for today. Please join the Discord in the link below if you have any question. I'm also going to link the official documentation. I'm looking forward to see what crazy cyberpunk stuff you can create modding Skid Cities. And until next time, see you.